Yo, what is up guys? It's the Goblin and welcome back to another Fortnite tips and tricks video. In today's video, I'm going to teach you guys how to win every game in this Thanos limited time game mode, and also how to use him and how to basically make the most of Thanos to be able to pick off everyone and get free wins in this game mode, because I really do think once you understand how to play against him and how to play with him, wins come super easy in this game mode. And it is going to be a limited time game mode, but these wins do count towards your record and your solo wins and stuff, so it is important. Drop a like on this video if you guys could. Let's go for 505 likes. That would be absolutely amazing if we could hit that. Also subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. The growth is just insane. Over 130,000 subscribers already. I really do appreciate each and every one of you guys that is subscribing, liking, commenting, all that stuff to help grow the channel. It truly is a blessing, and thank you guys so much for that. Let's just keep it going. I'm gonna keep pumping out this content because I'm having so much fun with Fortnite right now. Now, first of all, I made a video 1 day ago, when Thanos came out, talking about everything you need to know as far as killing him. So if you're interested in killing him and getting him, that's what you should watch. This video, I'm going to talk more about what to do when you want to fight him, what to do once you have Thanos, and how to win games with him. Basically, the first thing I got to address here is he was nerfed about a couple hours after he came out, and these gameplays was all like the night of when he came out. So now what's changed is, instead of 300 shield and 700 HP, he now has 200 shield and 800 HP, so that made him a little bit weaker because of course the shield regens but the health cannot. And they also nerfed his laser, which does 15 damage. Now it'll start to do 12 damage. So some tiny nerfs to him there. They do actually affect, and they are, I guess, significant, but they aren't the biggest nerfs where, all these tips and this guy can still be an absolute god in the game. Now the first thing I want to talk about is, a lot of people, if you want to win the game with Thanos, a lot of people try to go for him off the early game. That's not what you want to do, for the simple fact that you can't bandage up, you can't medkit up. There's no way to heal yourself other than killing people will regenerate your shield, but that green HP bar, there's nothing you can do. I suggest trying to get him around the mid game to the late game, and then, play around the amount of health and shield that you have to be able to secure those wins by taking safe fights. That's definitely the way. I see a lot of people grab him at the start of the game, which if you do that, you're going to have to run into a lot of casual players or noobs and, get really lucky to be able to get that win. Now let's talk about his basic moves. Of course, you have the superpower jump, which I believe the longer you hold it down, the higher you do jump with that. You have the laser, which can spray people but has a limited range. And then you have the punch or the pound, whatever it's called. Also, if you're up in the air and you press the punch or pound button, it'll ground slam onto people. Now, the first tip I'll give you guys, and one thing I see a lot of people doing wrong with Thanos, is when you're up in the air, you can use your laser, but don't do that unless you're in a 1v1 fight or you're in an enclosed area. So many times I see them, jump super high up and start to laser people, and then other people all around the map, whether they have snipers, hunting rifles, assault rifles, will start shooting and get free shots into them. You want to stay covered, and when you go up in the air, you want to come right back down on top of something, get a view of where you want to go and come back down. The playstyle you want to play with him basically is to make sure that you're winning all of these fights with using only that shield and hopefully not your HP. And it's really a lot harder when you only have 200 shield, but you have to be that much safer. The fact is that the playstyle you're going to have to play with Thanos is you have to recognize your strengths and you have to recognize your weaknesses. Now, the big weakness here is that players can outplay you. You don't have that mobility, and you do have cooldowns or delays. That's probably the biggest weakness here. You're going to have a cooldown on your laser whenever you're using it, and once you activate it, you cannot deactivate it until it's done. And as well as on the jump, doesn't have that much of a cooldown, but when you charging up the jump, that's where they're going to get shots into you. So as far as a playstyle, his biggest weakness is those cooldowns and the fact that he cannot build or heal. The biggest strength, of course, is his up close and personal combat. 2 to 3 punches, sometimes even 1, and you will get a kill. You want to fight up close and personal. Also, the fact that you can just destroy people's bases completely with 1 punch gives you that huge advantage up close. Now, what I suggest doing is play around cover, and cover can be either pre-made planks and building structures that other players or yourself has built before you became Thanos, or natural cover. Now, this is completely opposite to the tips that I would say in a normal normal game. In a normal game, you don't need to use natural cover because you can build, but in this game, you can't. And using natural cover is absolutely huge because if you're charging up your jump behind a tree, they're unable to shoot you, and they basically miss out on their whole chance and the time that they had to pick you off. Using natural cover is 100% the best way to do it. Most of your fights, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to spot a guy from a distance, charge your jump up, go up in the air, and then try to ground slam as close as you can to that enemy. And then once you land there, charge at him while punching and basically just tank up and make sure that using your HP to outplay him. You can charge at people if they're shooting RPGs in your face, if they're shooting shotguns. You should not be afraid because you are a tank in that situation. Now, the key is it's sort of a strategic game with him, and that's what I kind of like, because you have to understand what time in the game that you get him at, how much HP you have, and preserve that for the last fight. I've lost a couple of games because I was going all out trying to fight every single person, and then it came down to the end game, but I only had 200 HP for whatever reason. Also, if players RPG themselves, you don't get the kills, you don't get the shield reset, so that happened to me a couple times, and I came down to the end game and I only had 200 HP, and it was really tough to win that 1v1 at the end. I won a couple of them, I lost a couple of them as well. Preserving your HP, if you're full or near full, you should win the 1v1 pretty much every single time, unless the player at the end is very, very skilled. Now, my suggestion is just every single time, charge at people and try to go up, come down, and then beat them up with the punch. The laser is effective when you are at a range like that. That guy wasn't even looking at me, so I can use the laser. A lot of the times, too, if you have full shield, you can straight up hold the laser down on them, and even if they're holding their gun on you, of course, you have more HP on that shield, so you're going to be able to out-tank them, basically, and kill them before they can even hit onto your health bar. But the biggest key I would say with him is, yes, you want to play aggressive, yes, you want to run around and, do high damage, but you have to make sure that you are aware of that cooldown and time when you're going to jump. See right here, this guy's shooting at me. I get behind this wall, then I jump up, and then I head over to him. I don't just jump up right away. I make sure I am behind cover. I head over there, and I use the laser to be able to pick up that kill. Natural cover is the biggest tip. As far as 1v1s go with him at the end, those are fairly self-explanatory. Building won't really save people from you. It's more the things that can outplay him is more of movement and taking advantage of his cooldowns and aiming for the head and DPSing him. Those are the tips that I talked about as far as taking him out for the main part. What you want to do with him is you want to eliminate those options, and as you can see, as I'm moving around the map here, usually I'm trying to duck behind trees, I'm trying to duck behind other areas, and then when I spot a guy, it's straight up and straight down as close to the target as I can be. Even here, I'm not too close to him, but I'm able to use my laser, which doesn't have the highest damage, and then, of course, charge him. And right here, he can't really do much to me. Even if I miss a couple of punches, it doesn't really matter because I can face tank that. And do I think he is overpowered? I think that in a 1v1 situation, it all depends on your health. If Thanos is full health, he should win that 1v1 situation. However, the better player will win the fight most of the time. Whether the better player is the human operator or the other player is the Thanos operator, I really think that 1v1s can be done against him, especially after these nerfs. It's just more about understanding him. And the reason why, if you use these tips, it's so easy to win in this game is because off rip, a bunch of people die off the rip of this game every single time because of the fact that the zone is smaller and everyone is going for that Infinity Gauntlet. Also, the games move faster. You're starting the game out on like your third or fourth circle or something like that. The gas does an extreme amount of damage. As far as the gas goes for the end game, if you're tanking against a person, you may think you might be able to out-tank them because you have a higher amount of health, but the health actually does a percent-based damage. So you have to be a mathematician to basically decide if you can tank that. See, right there, I get caught by a third party, and I try to get out of there as quick as possible because I realized I was getting wrecked on my health. I run up over here, and there's 3 people left in this game. I don't have the most amount of health, so I want to sort of play it a little bit safer and, make sure I can secure that win. This game mode is really easy to win as long as you don't go for him in the early game. You play the game normally. You can land somewhere around the middle of the zone, the edges of the zone. It really doesn't matter. Play your normal play style and then go for him when you see him weak in that middle to late game. Make sure you have Thanos. You don't want to end up in a top 5 situation where someone else has him and you have to worry about that when he's full health and you're just you're just running around with the gun. Most of the time, if you can secure him and hold on to onto him until the late game, you should get yourself pretty much a guaranteed win as long as you're using natural cover. Right here I find the last guy, and he gets a couple of shots in on me, and then I just absolutely charge him here because I realize I have enough and I can face tank him here. I use the laser and I get kind of scared here because I only have 150 health, so I get behind cover and I go straight back up and then straight back down, always jumping, using those cooldowns while you have the cover protecting you is a major key. Thanks for watching. Hopefully these tips help you guys out. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Drop a like on this video, and that's about it, guys. Have a great night. I'm out. Peace.